Angels in religious context are benevolent beings who served as intermediaries between God and humanity. They served as protectors and guides, guardians and servants. From Christianity to Hinduism and Buddhism, angels have had their roles in religious texts. Angel is a name derived from late Greek, which literally means messenger. In the context of Ranger Reject, Angel Usukubo's name is accurate and fits within her role. As a guardian and servant to the Death Messiah, this name is fitting for your favorite traitor. Not only is Usukubo's first name extremely fitting to her character, so is her surname, with Usu translating to thin, light, diluted wheat, a name fitting of the internal struggle of this character. Ku translates to long time, old, long cherished, which fits more towards the invader or executive inside of Usukubo in the eyes of Yakushi Usukubo, and Bo, which means preserve, protect, guarantee, further implementing the idea of angel in the traditional sense. Before we dive in though, let me know what you think of Usukubo in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, why not like and subscribe? I'd really appreciate it. As far as character design goes, Negi Haruba is being a mangaka on hard mode. Typically, character designs, including the clothes they wear, are reflective of who the character is. Take the meaning behind Nezuko's pattern on her kimono, which holds significance to her character from Demon Slayer. All of those character details have to be solely from the neck up on Negi's characters in Ranger Reject, due to most of the characters wearing the same uniform. There are some exceptions to this, like Hisui. I am aware that later Usukubo does wear a black dress, which doesn't say much besides the fact that Usukubo is in her Bully Maguire arc. Let's talk about her facial design though. Usukubo has two different color eyes, one brown, one white, light blue with a pale pupil. Before the inevitable betrayal, besides Usukubo's eyes, she has a symmetrical design. She makes up for the lack of symmetry between her eyes by keeping her hair split down the middle and out of her face with hair clips, something that changes after she leaves the Rangers. Taking the hair clip out of her hair on the left side essentially represents her forsaking her humanity, as she's covering up her humanity and leaving the only part of herself that represents the invaders visible. This is a very subtle way to foreshadow the fact that while she's in the Rangers, she's playing the role of both. Upon leaving, she only has the role of an invader. Post time skip, however, this has switched. Her hair clip stays on the left side, but it's now exposing the divine weapon in her eye. However, during the three-way battle, her white eye becomes her left eye. This of course happened due to the awakening of Ulimaretta inside of her, causing a deeper influence on her body. With that acknowledged though, the divine weapons are of man-made creation and can be considered her human side, that she now leaves exposed. The only other bit to touch on as far as character design goes is at the same time that her left eye turns white, Usukubo also sprouts angel wings, further serving as a parallel between her name and her role in the story. Usukubo's divine weapon, or her right eye, is named Take Mikazuchi no Kami. The interesting part about the divine weapons within Ranger Reject lies within their names, as they all reference a Japanese deity, with Usukubo's divine weapon being the name of the deity who is considered a god of thunder and a sword god. At first, the relation to Usukubo as a character may not be apparent, but when you dive into Take Mikazuchi's history is where you can see the relations more clearly. For example, during the quelling of the Middle Country, which is when the gods execute the conquest of the terrestrial world known as Middle Country, Take Mikazuchi is sent down as a chief delegate to subjugate the terrestrial deities, something that plays a very similar role to Usukubo's in the story, as she was sent as a spy into the Ranger Force, being one of Yakushi's top members of the Invader Rights Association. Usukubo plays a very significant role in the story, being one of the two, including D, who are accepted into the Green Ranger Battalion. Usukubo plays along with the Ranger Force in order to gain more information about them, while also attempting to bring more Rangers to their side. Her main purpose was to allow Peltrola into Balong's nest in order to grab an item, assumably for the revival of the Death Messiah. She is a character driven by her loyalty to her adopted father, Yakushi, a character that we'll have to go in depth about at a later date. This loyalty, however, is one of parental love. Usukubo believes that she was born from Yakushi and Yuli Moreta, a lie that was fed to her by Yakushi. He, however, only saw her as a vessel for the restoration of the executive that he loved. This distortion of the truth motivates Usukubo to do anything that Yakushi asks her for the sake of duty, something that Usukubo isn't afraid to repeat on multiple occasions. Usukubo's story is about how high expectations from a parent can turn into abuse, and how that can shape someone. At some point, that parent's expectations for their child becomes more important than the child themselves. Something that's reflected in the Dreamy School arc. I know I mentioned in my Hisui character analysis on the importance of the Dreamy School arc and how it reflects the lack of a normal childhood for her character, but this arc does the same thing for Usukubo's character, as she is the first to fall under Magatia's spell. The idea of having a normal life in school affected those who missed out on a normal childhood and knew about it more than anyone else, as far as we know. At the end of the Monster Zoo arc is when we get the reveal that Usukubo's a traitor as the IRA begins to enact their plan. She, like most characters in Ranger Reject, isn't heartless. Usukubo did become friends with Dee and Hisui, and because of that, she invited them to join her in the IRA. Dee's relationship with Usukubo, however, is the highlight here. It is because of Dee that she's able to see things clearly in regards to her father. Once she realized that Dee is in fact Sakurama, it allows Usukubo to see that everyone has choices in their life that they need to make on their own, and that they won't all necessarily be easy choices to make. With that, she switches sides in order to help the Green Battalion fight her father, overcoming the lies that her father forced upon her. There also seems to be a hint of Usukubo falling for Dee, and when I say hint, I mean it's very obvious, at the end of this arc. I know a lot of people ship Dee and Hisui, but me personally, I'm a Dekubo fan, and I'm going to stick by that. Usukubo is a character who, upon introduction, came off as timid and weak. She remained that way for some time, but was also shown to be reliable during the Beilong's Nest arc. It's something about her character, where throughout this story, we could never really tell who she really was. In this arc, Usukubo works well with the other unranked rangers. She plays the role of your typical shy character who remains in the background, but whenever something needs to be done, she's on top of it. Dee needs some art drawn, and she does a perfect replica in a quick amount of time. Dee needs good aim from a shooter or a surprise attack, and she's on top of it, all while having her leg injured. Usukubo appears to be one of those characters who are super good at fighting, but their personality holds them back, all of which is an act that Usukubo put on to remain unsuspected. Usukubo was taken out pretty early into the Dreamy School arc, as we spoke about before. She was caught in Magatia's illusion and wasn't able to help really throughout this entire arc. At the beginning though, while Dee was upset by the size of Green Battalion and having to do chores, Usukubo was perfectly fine with it. She wasn't a part of the story in the Green Keeper arc, and then turned traitor during the Monster Zoo arc, whereupon she has a complete shift in her personality. She's more stern, she's stronger in her convictions, telling us that everything up until this point was a ruse, except for the friendship she had formed with Dee and Hisui, offering them a hand to join, and when Hisui wouldn't, locking her away somewhere she would be safe, going as far as to even keep her company and give her clothes before everything hit the fan. Usukubo is a fantastic character who holds a lot of weight in this story. Her influence has been felt since early on in the story during the Beilong's Nest arc, even if we didn't know it then. The hatred that Usukubo gets is understandable, because Negi wrote her in such a compelling way that we too felt betrayed when she left the Ranger Force. Love her or hate her, you truly can't deny that she is a very well-written character from beginning to end. Next up, I really wanted to explain the IRA and their past, but we got to keep the train rolling on the character analysis from Ranger Reject. Let me know in the comments who you'd like to see next. As a reminder, I have been doing chapter reviews for each new chapter that drops in regards to Ranger Reject, so if you're interested in that, why not check them out? If you enjoy my content in general and want more of it, feel free to like and subscribe. I'd also really appreciate it if you shared any of my Ranger Reject videos around. The more content that's seen about the series, the more we can get some diehard fans. Otherwise, peace.